Elon Musk waits for your reply before midnight, and Black Millionaire changes everything. The clock flashed 11:17 p.m. on Malik's sleek apartment wall, cold blue digits glowing in the dark. His hand trembled, hovering over the encrypted message Ethan Cross had just sent. Response required by midnight. Those words pulsed like a cold warning in his veins. Ethan Cross. The name alone hit Malik like a punch. One of the world's most powerful entrepreneurs. A man whose ideas had already reshaped entire industries. Yet this message wasn't business as usual. It was cryptic, loaded with hidden meaning, like a riddle wrapped in a threat. Malik's heart pounded tight in his chest. This wasn't just a deal. It was a crossroads. His mind flashed to family dinners he'd run from years ago. The secrets buried beneath polished smiles. The fights. The betrayals. Malik closed his eyes. The memory clawed up like a dark tide, dragging him into the past he tried to forget. Could he really face all that now, while opening a door that could change everything? Could the wealth he'd built on silicon and screens really fix what was broken inside? The room felt smaller. The hum of the city's night outside pressed against the windows. His phone buzzed again. A shadow flickered on the screen. A warning. Someone was watching. Lurking. Waiting. Malik's breath hitched. His adversary. He thought that ghost was dead. But it wasn't. Not by far. The air snapped cold as Malik's eyes darted toward the door. Was that a creak? A whisper? His fingers clenched, voice caught in his throat. The stakes were no longer just tech or money. This was about survival, trust, and the very soul of what he'd built, and what he could still destroy. Ethan's proposal dangled in front of him like a promise and a curse. A chance to rewrite the rules, to use their combined power to tackle the world's biggest problems. Or to watch everything fall apart in darkness. Outside, the city lights flickered, unpredictable, like the second hand inching toward midnight. Malik's mind raced. Could he risk it? Could he unlock the past? Face his ghosts and embrace the future? The clock ticked louder in the silence. The room seemed to hold its breath. One message, one answer, one choice. Time was bleeding out. And the real question was, who was the man behind the billionaire mask? Could Malik survive the truth? And just as his finger quivered towards send, a new notification blinked on the screen. The shadow wasn't just watching. It was moving. Who was closer than he thought? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. And since you're here, drop a powerful like that really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and let me know in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. Malik's heart raced as he stared at the new notification. His finger twitched above the screen, but in an instant, the door to his apartment flew open. A figure stood silhouetted in the doorway, backlit by the dim hallway light. It was his younger brother, Jamal. Wild-eyed and breathing hard like he'd just sprinted from a nightmare. "Malik! Jamal?" Malik's voice was thick. "What are you doing here?" Panic surged. This was not how it was supposed to play out. Jamal took a step forward, eyes darting around the room. His hands were tremendo. "We need to talk. I saw him. I saw Ethan. He's not who you think he is." Malik's thoughts twisted. "What are you talking about?" "Just listen." Jamal's voice was a frantic whisper. "He's been behind everything. The deals, the schemes. He's not just ambitious. He's dangerous." "Gee, he wants you for something else." "Calm down," Malik urged, his mind swirling. "What do you mean?" Jamal leaned in, urgency in every word. "I found something. Documents, numbers. It's not just tech. It's deeper. Ethan's been involved with illegal things bigger than anything you can imagine. And what?" Malik pressed, breathless. Jamal's eyes glistened, fear mingling with anger. "He's tied to Dad's death, Malik. I know it sounds crazy, but it links back. Money laundering, threats. There's a hole there, deep, and he's at the bottom of it." A chill shot through Malik's veins. Shadows of his past flashed like a horror movie reel. Grief and betrayal danced together, pulling at his heart. "You're wrong! Ethan's a genius! If he's involved—" "Exactly," Jamal interrupted, clenching his fists. "He's a genius with dark ties. You think he's your ally? You're just a pawn to him." A loud bang from the adjacent room snapped their conversation. Malik's attention snapped back to the shadows, creeping around him. "We're not alone," Malik whispered, his pulse hammered in his throat. Suddenly, a third figure emerged, stepping out from the shadows. A woman with fiery red hair, her face half hidden in the darkness, smirked at them with a predatory glare. "Oh, Malik, you really should have listened." "What?" Malik's breath caught. "Who are you?" She stepped forward, revealing a glint in her eyes that was both amused and cold. "I'm here to collect. Ethan has plans, and you, dear brother, are the missing piece." "What do you mean?" The woman tilted her head, revealing a face that twisted into something frighteningly familiar. "Did you really think you could escape your family legacy, Malik? Allow me to introduce myself. Sabrina, your sister." A silence as thick as fog enveloped the room. Malik's mind spun. His body felt heavy, as if the ground had vanished beneath him. He stumbled backward, shock and disbelief flooding through him. "No, that can't be true." "Oh, but it is," Sabrina cooed, voice dripping with malice. "And now, the clock is ticking. Ethan is only the beginning. Your choices, they come with consequences. Time distorted, pulling Malik into a void of confusion and terror." He glanced at Jamal, who looked as shattered as he felt. Outside, the city continued, its incessant pulse, unaware of the storm brewing within those four walls. Malik's hands trembled, the threat of midnight looming ominously over him. One message, one answer, one choice to make. But this wasn't just a question of trust anymore. As the clock inched closer to midnight, Malik could only wonder, how deep did this betrayal run? And as he faced his sister, a chilling realization settled in. The truth was darker than he ever could have imagined. Malik's heart raced as he stared at the notification on his screen. The shadow wasn't just watching. It was moving. Eyes wide, he read the message again. I know what you're planning. You can't escape. Each word slammed against him, heavy like a weight, urgent like a siren in the night. He didn't just have to answer Ethan now. He had to think fast, scramble for safety, or risk everything. Panic clawed at him. That familiar feeling creeping in like a thief. The ghosts of his past whispered louder. Just then, a loud crash echoed from the hallway beyond his front door. Malik's breath caught. He jumped to his feet. Adrenaline surging as dread coiled tight in his stomach. The sound was too close, too real. He could almost hear the footsteps, soft but deliberate, creeping through the silence. "Who's there?" Malik called, trying to keep the quiver from his voice. No response. Only the hum of the city outside. Nothing reassuring about the night anymore. He darted to the door, hands sweating, pulse pounding in his ears. It felt like a scene straight out of the thrillers he loved. But this was not fiction. This was his life. Every second felt stretched, like time was grasping at him, holding him back. Another crash, this time louder. And then a whisper, so soft you could barely catch it. But it sent chills racing up his spine. He's too deep. You have to make it right. Malik's heart sank as recognition washed over him. It was a voice he hadn't heard in years, a ghost he thought was buried forever. His brother, Amir, the boy he once idolized, who had disappeared into the shadows of their past. The boy who turned from family and played both sides. He was alive. Amir? Malik's voice cracked, disbelief mixing with fear. His mind spun, trying to piece it all together. Why now? What was he doing here? Suddenly, the door flung open, slamming against the wall with a force that echoed like thunder. There he stood, older, harder, wearing the weight of regret and secrets on his face. "We don't have time!" Amir hissed, eyes darting behind him. "They're coming for you, Malik. You need to leave." Malik shook his head, confusion tight in his chest. "Leave? I can't just—" "They know about Ethan," Amir interrupted, almost frantic. "This isn't just business. They'll use you. They'll destroy everything you care about." Panic wrestled within Malik. He thought he was stepping into a world where he could rewrite wrongs, but now it felt like a trap. The pulse of betrayal beat in his ears. The man behind the billionaire mask wasn't the only one to question. Amir had crossed lines Malik couldn't understand. "Why should I trust you?" "Because I'm your brother. Because I've seen what they can do. Listen, there's a reason I stayed away. I thought it would protect you, but it didn't. You have to believe me." As Amir spoke, the tension in the air shifted. The room felt charged with something electric. Dark shadows creeping in around them. Malik's eyes flicked to his phone, still lit up with Ethan's message. The clock behind him ticked down. 11:45 p.m. In that moment of desperation, betrayal, and fear, Malik realized everything was unraveling. Trust, family, survival. They twisted like threads in a loom, and the fear of losing it all danced tantalizingly close again. He felt a lump in his throat. And just then, a loud bang came from behind Amir, sending both of them jumping back. A figure loomed in the doorway, shadowy and imposing. A smirk spreading slowly across their face. "Didn't think you'd need a reminder, did you, Malik?" Malik's heart dropped. Everything he thought he knew was crashing down. Who was this intruder? The line between ally and enemy blurred in an instant. The final countdown hung heavy in the air. One choice, one answer. And suddenly, the stakes were higher than ever. Malik's heart dropped at the sight of the looming figure. He squinted into the dim light, desperately trying to place the face in the shadows. As the intruder stepped closer, recognition crashed into him like a tidal wave. "Is that you?" The words slipped from Malik's lips, disbelief anchoring him in place. The smirk widened. "You really thought you could leave everything behind? How naive, Malik." Suddenly, Amir rushed forward, placing himself between Malik and the figure. "Get out! You have no right to be here!" "Oh, a prodigal brother returns," the intruder said, eyes glinting. "It's adorable, really. But you don't get to protect him." As the tension crackled in the air, the woman leaned into the light, revealing an unsettling familiarity. It was her, the one who had haunted their past, the one they believed dead. "Mom," Malik gasped, voice shaky as memories flooded back. "Yes, my dear, I see you haven't forgotten." Jamal and Amir exchanged wide-eyed glances. Malik's world tilted. His mother, who they thought was lost, was standing right there, her presence feeling surreal and haunting. But how? Why? Enough with the questions. You need to understand. I was never gone. I've been watching, protecting you all. Her voice slipped into a whisper filled with a dark urgency. Ethan was never the problem. It's deeper. You're in danger because you've all underestimated the power we hold. Malik's mind raced, panic battling disbelief. You were supposed to be dead. Why didn't you come back? What do you want from us? She chuckled softly, a sound that sent shivers down Malik's spine. I want you to realize the truth. The family legacy runs deeper than you think. There are forces at play that you can't comprehend. Amir ternó a Malik, voice harsh con gritos. Don't listen. She left us. No, su madre le puso la mano, los ojos marcados, nunca me marqué. I made decisions to keep you alive. There are people who want us silenced. That's why I came back, Amir added, desperation weaving through his words. I worked to uncover the truth, and now it's closing in. I didn't want you involved, Malik. I thought you'd be safe. Safe? Malik's voice cracked. Confusion turning to fury. You think keeping me in the dark was safety? This has always been about control. The door creaked open again, and the atmosphere shifted. A figure slipped through, eyes wide, weapon in hand. Another brother, Amir's twin, Zeke. They're coming, he shouted, panic cutting into the tension. They know about Mom. They're here. A cacophony of footsteps thundered outside, echoing in the hallway. Malik felt the walls closing in. Trust no one. They'll use your ties against you. Their mother urged, urgency sharp in her voice. We need to move now! Everything blurred, questions swirling like a storm in Malik's mind. Trust? Who could he trust when history had tangled them all together in a web of lies? His family was a puzzle, and suddenly pieces were missing or in the wrong places. The clock ticked dangerously close to midnight. He looked at his brothers, at the mother he thought was lost forever, and felt the weight of betrayal anchor him to the spot. The fear of the unknown was suffocating. Time waits for no one, she whispered. You choose now or lose everything. And as they rushed towards the chaos outside, a final image burned in Malik's mind. the fractured pieces of the family he thought he knew, and the unshakable feeling that the real battle was just beginning. Would the truth save them, or would it tear them apart for good? Malik's finger hovered over the screen, a bead of sweat trickling down his brow. The clock's relentless tick echoed, drowning out the hum of the city. He felt the weight of decisions pressing him down. Just as he was about to tap send, his door burst open, slamming against the wall with a bang that rattled the frames hanging crookedly. Malik. It was Ethan, his face an ashen mask of terror. The confident entrepreneur, usually so composed, was now wide-eyed and breathless. "We need to go. Now." "What are you talking about?" Malik's heart raced as he stepped back, instinctively feeling for the hidden weapon beneath his coffee table. What happened? "No time. They're coming. You're past. It's back. And this time it won't leave until it takes everything." Ethan's words came out in a frantic rush. "What are you saying? Slow down!" Malik felt the walls close in, the shadows grown heavier. Before Ethan could respond, the lights flickered and the power went out, plunging them into darkness. The faint glow from Malik's phone illuminated Ethan's fear. Then came the pounding. Heavy footsteps echoed down the hallway, growing closer. Malik could feel his pulse quicken, the adrenaline flooding his veins. He turned to Ethan. "Who's coming?" Ethan's gaze darted around the room, finally landing on Malik. "It's not just business. It's personal. Your enemy is not who you think it is." "What?" Malik's mind spun. Was this another game? "I don't understand." But before he could finish, the door swung open again, revealing a shadowy figure. Clad in black, the person stepped into the light, and Malik's world shattered. It was Grace, his estranged sister, a ghost from his past. They hadn't spoken in years, not since the fallout that had upended their family. "Why are you here?" he gasped, confusion and shock washing over him. "I had to." Grace's voice trembled, urgency cracking through her calm exterior. "They're coming for you, Malik. You need to trust me." Tears glistened in her eyes, but her resolve was firm. "I never wanted to be part of this, but I am. Our family is in danger." Malik wanted to scream, to tell her to leave, but the fear in her eyes anchored him, rooting him to the ground. "What do you mean? They've dug into everything," she whispered urgently. "You have no idea how deep it goes. Ethan, he's not who you think. He's been playing both sides." The revelation hit Malik like a punch to the gut. He felt the room spin. Everything he thought he understood crumbled. "Ethan? No, he wouldn't. Check your phone." Grace's voice was sharp. "He's been lying to you." Heart racing, Malik turned his gaze back to the screen just as a new notification appeared. "Ethan, I trusted you. What the hell is going on?" But Ethan was gone, just like that, leaving Malik and Grace in shock, shadows swirling around them from the doorway, the pounding growing louder. The reality of betrayal settled heavily on Malik's chest. He glanced at his sister, searching for answers, for a way out. "Trust her." The whisper of his past filled the silence, a voice he hadn't heard in years. "Or lose everything." The choice loomed in front of him like a chasm. Could he trust Grace, or was this just another trap? As the door trembled, and with it, his resolve, the stakes surged higher. Whatever darkness lay ahead, Malik knew he must confront it. The clock was still ticking, and the shadows were closing in. What twist awaited them beyond the door? Malik's finger hovered over the send button, heart racing, breathing uneven. Every second felt like an eternity. The dark, quiet, pressing in around him. Suddenly, the notification blipped again, this time vibrating aggressively against the table. He startled, eyes darting to the screen. It was a video call from Ethan. Panic rippled through him. He wasn't ready for this. Their conversations had always been controlled, measured. This felt different. As he reluctantly tapped accept, Ethan's face filled the screen. But it wasn't just Ethan. Seated beside him, smiling coolly, was someone Malik never expected to see again. "Surprise!" Ethan grinned. But it was the person next to him that made Malik's breath catch. It was Devin, Malik's estranged brother. The chill of betrayal slashed through Malik like ice through his veins. "What the, Devin? Long time, brother," Devin said, his tone too casual, too mocking. The smile didn't reach his eyes. Malik remembered the last time they'd spoken. Shouting, accusations, and a door slamming shut. "What is this?" Malik demandé. Fist clenchen as he fought the tempest de emociones whirling inside él. Ethan senten, su voz hasta conspiracional. "We're partners now. Malik, your brother es cree en nuestra visión tanto como yo también." "¿Your visión?" Malik se rió huido, pésimo. "¿O your juego distópido?" Devon esperó, un tono de arrogancia persistente. "Debes de encarar las cosas, señor. Yo siempre fui el mejor jugador. Yo quedé solitario y monté al país. You think you're the only one who can create?" Malik's mind raced. His heart thudded painfully. Was this why he felt the shadow lurking? The adversary he couldn't escape? Devin, playing puppeteer behind the scenes, biding his time until he could pull Malik back into his world of secrecy and scheming. "Ethan," Malik's voice trembled with urgency, "you don't know what he's capable of." Ethan's expression hardened. "I do know. He brings connections, power, resources. Trust me, Malik, we need him." Malik shook his head in disbelief. "You're making a mistake. He'll destroy everything." Devin leaned forward, a predatory smile spreading. "Not everything, Malik. Just your carefully crafted image. They say you're a genius, but genius doesn't mean you know what's best for your family." Malik swallowed hard, the lump in his throat almost choking him. "Family? You haven't been family in years." "Family is what I'm going to help you reclaim," Devin said, voice dripping with false sincerity. "Join us, and we'll show the world just how powerful we can be, together." Then, as if the universe had decided to intervene, the lights in Malik's apartment flickered and died, plunging him into darkness. Only the faint glow from the screen illuminated their faces, making the atmosphere suffocating. A noise crashed somewhere outside, a shatter of glass, filled with chaos. Malik's heart raced anew, suspicion igniting like fire. Someone was definitely watching. Now, it felt more like an invasion. "Malik," Ethan's voice broke through the tension. "You need to decide. Midnight is closer than you think." The seconds dripped away, like ice melting in the sun. Malik was faced with a decision that could shatter his world even further. Trust the brother who had betrayed him, or the billionaire who seemed to have already orchestrated this twisted reunion? Just then, another notification flashed on his phone. This wasn't just a message, it was a picture. Heart pounding, Malik felt the blood drain from his face as he tapped it open. It was a photo of his mother, face twisted in fear, with a timestamp that sent icy dread racing through him. The clock ticked insistently, the suspense unbearable. "Choose wisely, Malik," Devin said, voice teasing, taunting. "This is just the beginning." And as the meeting darkened around him, Malik braced for a confrontation that would ripple through their worlds. Malik's finger hovered, pulse racing. The screen blinked at him, light slicing through the dark like an accusation. He could feel the weight of Ethan's proposal pressing down, thicker than the air in the room. The rush of adrenaline made his palms sweat. Then the notification flashed again. A single, chilling word. Help. Malik's breath caught. The world around him blurred. The city's distant noise faded into static. He clicked the message open, a dull thrum in his ears. It was from a number he recognized. An old friend. But this wasn't just a cry for help. This was insistent, urgent. "Meet me," the message read. "They're coming. No time." Malik's heart dropped. He knew this friend, Devante. They had shared dreams and fears when the world felt too big to handle. And now, Devante was reaching out like this? Panic surged through Malik like ice water. He couldn't ignore this. The screen buzzed again. This time it wasn't from Devante. It was Ethan. "You're running out of time," the text reminded him, cold and predatory. The pit in his stomach twisted. He felt the silent pressure of choices closing in like a vice. He was caught between two worlds. One that forced him to confront his ghosts, and another threatening to swallow him whole. Both could bring destruction. But before he could decide, a loud crash echoed from his living room. The window rattled. Malik's heart leaped. Eyes wide, he steeled himself and moved quietly toward the door. He crept up to the edge, heart pounding. Shadows danced in the faint light. Who was lurking outside? Then, without warning, a figure burst through the door. A woman, her hair wild, eyes frantic. "Malik!" she screamed. "They're going after you!" His mind raced. Who was they? He recognized her, Claire, a journalist from years ago. Someone who reported on the tech industry. But seeing her now, he noticed something off. There was panic, desperation, and then a flicker of warmth. Hadn't they shared moments of laughter? Those good old days felt like they belonged to someone else. "They know about you," she continued, voice trembling. "About Ethan's proposal. You have to understand." "Understand what?" he snapped. "What are you talking about?" "Ha ha 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 ha!" Malik's temper flared, but her eyes reflected fear and more, a shadow of something deep, tangled, and raw. Then she hesitated, like a secret was fighting to escape her lips. The room seemed to hold its breath. I didn't want to believe it, but I have proof. You have to see it." "Proof? What proof?" The possibilities churned in his mind like a storm. Trust her? Then, from outside, he heard it, a low hum. Drones? Malik's heart sank. Claire's voice faded as reality crashed into him. He was being hunted. "Claire, what do you know?" But before she could respond, the lights flickered and everything went dark. The silence was shattered by the sound of an explosion. Malik's world twisted as he felt heat rush through the room, shoving him back. The blast hurled Claire into him, They hit the ground, sprawling across the floor. In that chaos, something unlatched in Malik's mind. For the first time, he felt how far this truly reached. It wasn't just a choice anymore. It was survival. A war against ghosts, real and imagined. He grasped Claire's arm, their gazes locking. What's the truth? But before she could answer, gunfire erupted outside. The shadows were no longer just whispers. They were threats, alive and waiting. And in that moment, the lines blurred, trust shattered. Everything he thought he knew was spiraling out of control, leaving only the sharp edge of uncertainty in its wake. Who were the enemies? Who could he trust? And could he truly escape the past that clung so tightly? As clarity slipped through his fingers, he could only wonder. What had they unleashed? Malik's heart raced as he lay sprawled on the floor, the chaos swirling around him. Gunfire echoed in the distance. He could feel the vibrations in his chest. Claire clutched his arm, eyes wide with fear. But just as panic surged, a sudden crash from the back of the apartment broke through the noise. "Watch out!" Malik screamed, instinct pulling him up and toward Claire. But as he turned, the front door burst open once more. A massive figure filled the doorway, casting a long, ominous shadow. Malik squinted, adrenaline pumping, and then everything froze. "Devin," he whispered, horror creeping up his spine. "Nobody's getting out," Devin's voice rang out, wild and intimidating. His face was twisted into a mix of anger and something darker, something dangerous. But before Malik could react, something shifted behind Devin. An explosion rippled through the hallway, and other figures rushed in. Shadows shifted into people, faces half illuminated by the flickering lights. Malik stumbled back, losing his footing on the debris, Claire nearly falling on top of him. Then voices overlapped, shouting, rushing in waves. He couldn't process who was friend or foe. Chaos engulfed the apartment. Malik's eyes darted until they landed on a figure standing at the back. A woman, features hidden by the dim light, but unmistakably familiar. "Mom?" Malik's voice broke, confusion flooding through him. "You're alive?" But she didn't answer. Instead, she rushed ahead, her face set in grim determination. "They can't find you. Not now. There are things, deeper connections. It's not just about the family anymore," she breathed, urgency clear in her voice. "Who are you working with?" Malik felt the knot in his stomach twist tighter. "Is it Ethan? Devin?" "Enough!" Devin yelled, stepping forward, fists clenched. "You think all of this is a game? You're not ready for the truth." In that moment, Malik felt something shift inside him. The weight of secrets and past betrayals pressed down like a heavy curtain. Around them, the air felt thick with tension, every heartbeat pulsing with fear. Claire pulled away from Malik and lunged for his mother. "Why didn't you come back sooner? We could have prevented this." Their mother's eyes darkened. "You think you understand? You have no idea what happened back then." A loud crash interrupted them. The window shattered, sending shards flying. Malik instinctively threw himself over Claire. When he turned to his mother, her demeanor had shifted. Eyes fierce, she spoke, her voice low but steady. "You all need to know the truth about Ethan." Malik's heart pounded as he met her gaze. "What do you mean?" Suddenly, a tense silence enveloped them, thick and suffocating. Then came the shatter of glass at the far end of the room. A figure stepped through it, grimy, bloodied, and wild-eyed. It was Amir, ragged and broken, face twisted with desperation. "They're coming for all of us! What's happening?" Malik shouted, feeling his entire body tense. "Malik, the family," Amir panted. "It's more of a network than you know. It's a web, and every thread leads back to Ethan. There's something you must see." Before he could finish, the lights flickered again. In that brief darkness, Malik felt something change. An unexpected flash of heat, and then a blinding light filled the room. The wail of sirens cut through the chaos, leaving them all momentarily stunned. When the light faded, Amir was standing there, eyes wide, a symbol of shock on his face. Then, everything shattered when he pulled out a device from his pocket. The screen flickered alive, revealing videos and documents. "Ethan is not simply using you. He's connected to everything that happened to Dad and to Mom." Malik's breath caught. "No, it can't be." As they all leaned in, the reality smacked them like a gale force wind. There, in grainy footage, was Ethan alongside their father, discussing plans darker than they ever imagined. Malik stood frozen, eyes wide as betrayal seeped deep into his bones. "Is that him?" he gasped. "What is this?" The air shifted, and in that moment, amidst the chaos, everything crystallized into stark clarity. A knock at the door rattled them again, but it was different. It felt heavy, demanding. "Open up! We know you're in there!" Malik's world spiraled. The man he thought he trusted, the family he was trying to protect, everything suddenly spun wildly out of control. Every voice faded into the background, and nothing felt safe anymore. Would this revelation tear them further apart? Who would emerge alive from the darkness? The urgency gripped him. The clock was ticking. But the truth was far more lethal. Malik's heart raced as the shadow of his mother loomed over him. The truth lingering in the air like a noxious gas. The sirens outside grew louder, a relentless reminder that time was running out. The pounding at the door intensified, echoing through his mind, trying to drown out the chaos swirling within him. Just then, Amir stepped forward, clutching the device tightly. The videos, flickering on the screen, showed more than just a criminal connection. They painted a portrait of a family entrenched in power struggles, deceit, and broken loyalties. "You need to look at this, Malik. It's..." A deafening crash interrupted him as the door flew off its hinges, splintering against the wall. The figures that rushed in were menacing, faces obscured, movements swift and deliberate. Malik stumbled back, and Claire gripped his arm tightly, her knuckles turning white. "Stay behind me," he shouted as they surged forward. But before Malik could react, flames erupted from the device in Amir's hands, shooting sparks like stars, breaking free of the night. The explosion wasn't loud, but it was bright. A blinding light filled the room, momentarily washing away shadows. In that instant, Malik caught glimpses, the fear etched on Claire's face, the uncertainty in Amir's eyes, and his mother's instinctive. Malik staggered through the haze, his senses scrambling to catch up. He could hear chaos, shouts, the scuffle of feet, the crash of fragmented furniture. In the dimness, a hand grasped his shoulder, pulling him back against the wall, as a muffled voice broke through. "Malik, listen!" Malik turned, heart thumping. It was Grace. "Get out, now!" she cried, urgency fueling her words. "Where's Devon?" he shouted back, panic pressing in tightly. Her eyes widened, the flickering shadows dancing across her features. "He's not who he says he is." But before she could finish, another figure emerged from the swirling darkness, unmistakably Devon. He looked composed, almost unsettlingly calm. "Isn't it cute, this little family reunion?" he said, smirking. "But it's time to wake up, Malik." "Wake up to what?" Malik growled, fighting to keep his fears at bay. Devon stepped closer, revealing something in his hand. An emblem. The insignia glimmered with a sinister familiarity. Just like one Malik remembered from those childhood stories he thought were just tales. "Our true legacy. This is your birthright." The room fell silent, breaths catching in throats. All eyes fixed on the emblem. Malik felt his stomach drop. "What are you talking about?" Devon grinned, a darkness creeping into his expression. "You are never meant to be just a tech genius. You are part of something bigger. A family with real power. You've only scratched the surface." The air hummed with tension, and Malik felt the world tilt beneath his feet. Everything he thought he knew snapped into fragments before him. The sirens outside erupted into chaos, and suddenly Malik was no longer the victim. He felt a different kind of weight, a power he never asked for. Amir shook his head, confused. "Malik, you don't have to listen to him." But the change, something ignited in Malik. In that moment, when everything went dark and the shadow of doubt wrapped around him, he realized that trust had become a game, and he was caught in the crossfire, part of a legacy he couldn't fully grasp. "Malik, please," Claire pleaded, her voice trembling, but the truth hung like a noose, heavy and suffocating. "Get away from me!" He pushed the air between them, breaking the sudden pulse of tension as he tried to keep his footing. Just then, a loud crack echoed through the room. Malik spun around and saw his mother, desperate. "You must choose, Malik. It's all about the choices." And amid the chaos, as the realization settled in like a thick fog, it hit him. What if everything he believed, the bonds of family, trust, had been constructed on lies? The weight of the emblem in Devon's hand loomed above them all. "Choose wisely, Malik," he taunted again. "This battle will change everything." Malik felt his heart race, the fractures in their relationships spreading like lightning through the storm. In that moment, he knew he was standing at the edge of a precipice. What lay beyond was uncertain and terrifying. He could feel the decision pressing down on him. One misstep, one wrong choice, and it could all lead to devastation. But then the door behind them exploded inward with a blinding light, revealing a figure, framed dramatically against the chaos. "Enough!" Malik's breath caught in his throat, and the world spiraled. The shock reshaped everything he thought he knew, leaving him grappling with a reality that had just exploded open. And the question lingered, haunting him. How far into the darkness would he have to go before he found the light. Malik's heart raced as the figure stepped into the room, the harsh light illuminating an all too familiar face. It was Ethan, but he wasn't. At his side stood a fierce-looking woman, someone Malik had seen in the shadows of their conversations, cloaked in secrets. "Time's up!" Ethan's voice boomed, cutting through the chaos. "You can't run from the truth forever, Malik." Malik felt a surge of fear mingled with fierce determination. He glanced at Claire, Amir, and his mother, each face marked with a mixture of terror and expectation. Would they join him against this darkness or falter? With one swift motion, Malik stepped forward, fists clenched, adrenaline overtaking doubt. "What do you want?" he shouted, cutting through the tension. "You've gotten far too comfortable playing games." Ethan smirked, cocking his head defiantly. "It's not a game, Malik. It's power. You've always been too naive to see the wider picture. I can show you everything." "Everything? Is that why you lied?" Malik's voice trembled with anger and conviction. "Is that why you've been controlling everything behind the scenes?" "I made choices for us," Ethan barked back, frustration lacing his words. "This family has a legacy, and it's about time you understood yours." Malik shook his head, the heaviness of the moment almost unbearable. "My legacy is my choice. I won't let you bind me to the past." Glancing at Claire, who stood with wide, pleading eyes, he drew strength from the fearlessness he saw reflected back at him. This was it. No turning back. They were all in this. Suddenly, Amir stepped forward, urgency lining his face. "Malik, we have to move. The longer we're here, the closer they get." The shadows outside pulsed ominously, the faint whispers of unseen threats just on the other side of the door. "Enough!" their mother yelled, stepping into the light. "We are done running and hiding." Malik's pulse quickened. Would they truly stand together against this overwhelming force? Devon stepped further into view, an unsettling grin spreading across his face. What happens next is all up to Malik. Fold into our plans or face the consequences. Choose wisely, brother. Everyone held their breath, the air thick with anticipation. Malik felt the weight of their gazes, the shared heartbeat of family, a connection both painful and powerful. Just then, a sound broke through the tension, a low rumble like thunder, growing louder, closer. "It's too late!" Ethan hissed, eyes widening in alarm. Malik's throat felt tight, panic rising. The shadows outside were no longer waiting. They had come to collect, to confront, to claim their due. In a flash, Malik turned to his family, determination thrumming in his veins. "We need to stand together. We fight for each other. We fight for our futures, not for their legacy." With that, he grabbed Claire's hand tightly. Amir moved closer, and their mother's resolute spirit fortified their bond. Devon's expression morphed from arrogance to shock, momentarily caught off guard. In one swift moment, the doors burst open, and a wave of light flooded into the dim room, banishing the shadows. A wave of chaos followed, but amidst the noise, Malik started to feel something stir, a flicker of hope, an echo of strength rising from within. Let's go! Malik shouted, leading the charge as they burst out into the night, a united front against the storm that awaited. As they leapt into the chaos beyond the door, a sense of freedom swept over them, the kind that felt raw, chaotic, and ultimately liberating. But just then, as they stumbled into the street, a dark figure stood waiting at the end, silhouetted against the chaos of the city lights. The tension tightened again, uncertainty lurking in the air. Who would emerge from the darkness next? You have to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comment section with your reactions and theories about this ending. And don't wait even a second longer to share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this ending. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting our journey. Don't miss out.